What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we'll talk about Pro Touch and Consistent Finisher. These two badges are pretty much the same thing, but of course they have some difference on some other aspects. So in this video, we'll quickly talk about how it works separately and I'll cross compare them. And before the end of the video, I'll give my opinion on who's better overall, and of course I'll give my badge recommendation as well for some builds. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before we start, just wanna invite you guys to follow me on Twitter. I'm starting to make it a bit active, and you can message me for business stuff like cross promotions or whatever things related to it. But unfortunately, I can't answer stuff about the game. I prefer it to be in the comment section so others can see. And not gonna lie, it's better for the channel. So now let's move on. So here's the badge description for Pro Touch. Gives an extra boost for having slightly early, slightly late, or excellent shot timing. And for Consistent Finisher, penalties for mistimed layups are reduced, allowing players to make layups more consistent. So it's pretty much the same thing. They both give boost. Reducing penalty is like a boost as well, but the only difference is related to your timing. If it's slightly late or early or green, it'll be Pro Touch. And if the timing is worse than those, it'll be Consistent Finisher. It sounds simple, but there's more to it. We'll talk about it later. And about the actual boost, I tried to get some stats, but it's really hard. I mean, it's hard to make it efficient. It's hard to make every layup and challenge the same for thousands of shots, so I didn't make it. I don't want to put some inefficient stats just for the sake of having one. And now for the fun part, which one is really better overall? So the key element for this comparison will be based on your shot meter. So for those who don't know, jump shot meter and layup shot meter are different in some ways. Sometimes they're the same though. Don't you wonder why it's harder to green layups than jump shots? It's because most of the time, 2K won't let you feel the meter fully. Even you hold your layup button all the way, shot meter will just stop, before even filling up the whole thing. You probably experienced that already. And to make it worse, the meter is wrong. As you can see here, by the looks of it, this is an early release, right? But they flag it as late. How in the world this one will be late? So this thing happens most of the time, especially when your shots are challenged, and this leads your Consistent Finisher to activate more often than Pro Touch. But based on my experience, I noticed that there's a better chance for the meter to be accurate. This is when you take open shots through hook shots, so if it's not open, mostly the shot meter will be out of whack. So with all those being said, it just means that frequency-wise, Consistent Finisher is better. I even tried it both on silver, and man, Pro Touch rarely popped out. Pro Touch activated only if I take open hook shots for a green. So for the final verdict, Consistent Finisher is really better than Pro Touch. Overall, it's just more useful. The activation is much better. Yes, Pro Touch helps you green your hook shots, which are not really well challenged, but if you're taking these shots, I assume that you have good offensive rating and you're in good position. So why bother investing on Pro Touch if there's a high chance that you'll make that shot anyway, even without the badge? So before we go to the badge recommendation, just want to invite you guys to like the video if you're liking it so far, and of course subscribe to the channel for more videos. It will be really awesome as well if you can comment any recommendation for a topic for my next video. And if you don't know what to say, just comment Toot Squad. And just want to promote this page here as well, NBA 2KW. Link will be in the description. They got the My Player Builder, 2K News, and lots of stuff. You guys should check it out. Now for the recommendation, let's start with bigs. So for Pro Touch, the only reason that I can think of to equip it is when you're too conservative with your shots, that you only take open shots, namely hook shots, which is rare. But if your playstyle is like that, feel free to equip Pro Touch, probably max at silver. Now, for most big man builds, we all know that the main goal as a big is to dunk the ball, right? Which doesn't really happen all the time. So worst case scenario, it will end up like these close shots or layups, which are most of the time challenged. Now, the only badges that can boost these shots are namely Consistent Finisher, Putback Boss, but that's only if it's off the offensive rebound, and Giant Slayer. But with Giant Slayer, I don't recommend it because if it activates, the boost will be small anyway. Because for those who don't know, the boost is based on the height gap. And you won't take those shots if you're guarded by a really big defender anyway, so I don't recommend Giant Slayer. So with all those being said, there is not much badge that can boost these close shots, aside from Slither Finisher. That's why we need Consistent Finisher on a high upgrade, so I recommend it to be Hall of Fame, Gold at minimum, and forget about Pro Touch. Now for guards, I don't recommend Pro Touch at all. in all cases. And for consistent finisher, I recommend to just level it to your acrobat, because your acrobat level shows how often you do layups. And if you have no idea which acrobat upgrade to choose, just watch that link at the top of your screen. But roughly, if you're a slasher, I usually recommend silver acrobat and silver consistent finisher. But there's a catch here. In my case, I usually drive through the baseline for a reverse dunk. And worst case scenario, sometimes I end up with a reverse layup that acrobat boosts. So my acrobat will be Hall of Fame. So my consistent finisher is Hall of Fame as well. I know acrobat makes your layup frequency higher than dunks, but reverse layups are really good anyways, so I don't care. So that's all for this video. Please smash that like button if you like it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos, and as always, happy gaming guys!